Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Friday ramblings. And this is, as you might suspect, given the release date, a super special, just for you, once a year, Valentine's Day special. Now, I could sit there and get into the history of the holiday and all the little modern traditions and rituals and cliches. I could discuss who St. Valentine was. But, you know what? We're going to leave that heavy educational stuff for later, especially because very soon it looks like we will be bringing back the two-man podcast to our lovely Roulette Productions fan base. And that is going to be one of the features of the podcast, is your more knowledge-heavy, long-form discussions of things historical. So what are we going to talk about on Valentine's Day? Very simple. We're going to talk about three, lovely examples of great fictional romances. Yep, I'm going to get a little sappy. I'm going to discuss three. See, once again, we're doing it. Three love stories that I frankly never get tired of. Because that's the kind of love I'm sharing with my viewers today. So, first, we're going to discuss big Hollywood movie. Nice, simple start. Everybody likes movies. Everybody likes romantic movies, especially when they are comedic on top of the romance, because it just helps, keep everything speeding along, helps keep things fun, so it's not just heavy-handed, all romance all the time. So when it comes to big Hollywood romantic comedies, I gotta go with 1997's Bulls Rush In, starring Matthew Perry and Salma Hayek. Now, the big thing that makes this movie stand out among so many romantic comedies is that it is not just about the couple falling in love. That is the main thing about it. But what I love about this movie is it also works on a second level of being about cultural differences and how people from very distinctive cultural backgrounds can... I want to phrase this right because I really don't want to sound like I'm trying to, not be really open-minded and accepting everything, but how they can move beyond the idea that you have to stick to your own culture. Okay, there we go. That's a good phrasing for it, yeah. That people from other cultures can be somebody that you can be attracted to, can have a healthy relationship with, and that you can learn from. And that is the second layer of the story of their relationship. So real quick, for people who haven't seen the movie, as I say, because I don't do heavy plot summaries, this is your Cliff Notes version. New York. WASP, which, yes, for those of you who don't know your old terms, is White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, aka Caucasian of European descent, raised in a Christian background. Specifically the Protestantism. But yeah, just, rich New York guy goes to Vegas for a business trip because his business is building up and opening nightclubs. While in Vegas, meets this woman. They have an instant physical attraction, hook up on that first date. That's all there is to it, seemingly. comes off as one of these little one-night stand, moment of passion moments, until 3 months later, as he is now knee-deep in building his nightclub. Our female lead, who is a blah blah, again, excuse me, I'm trying to make sure I'm using the best phrasing here. It's so hard to keep up with modern times and preferred terminology, but our female who is of direct Mexican descent, and is from a nice Catholic background, which again, hey, just saying, compared to his Protestant background, Christianity a little bit different there, especially because his family's not really very regularly practicing in their, Protestantism. But either way, she's of Mexican descent, as Salma Hayek is herself. She shows up to him 3 months after their first encounter to announce that she is pregnant, she is keeping the child, and all she really wants from him is a single date to a big family dinner that her family has regularly, so that when she has the child, she can take some of the sting out of that single unwed mother judgment that her parents will give her. By saying, "Oh yeah, no, you know this guy. Remember, I brought him to dinner that one time. It was totally a thing." Just take a little bit of the sting out of the situation. So they go to dinner. He does his best job to deceive that he has actually been with her for a while. Meets the family. Comedy ensues. A lot of really great Mexican food is consumed. I mean, seriously, I love that dinner scene, but it just always makes me hungry. They made some really good looking food for that scene. Blah blah blah. So he decides he wants to stay with her. He wants to be with her because he's realizing she's not just physically attractive, she's also a really great person. So they make a go at it. She moves in with him. Much comedy ensues as he continues to learn about her culture. She struggles to deal with the fact that he is from a background where he doesn't really discuss anything with his family. Him and his parents don't, have nice family dinners regularly. His parents are very close-minded and very insulated in their social circle, so they struggle to find common ground with her parents. Again, a lot of comedy. There's some wonderful moments. One of my favorites is when her multiple brothers take him out hunting in the desert. There's a lot of rattlesnakes, there's some cactus, and there is Matthew Perry getting extremely drunk on tequila to help make the fallout from the cactus encounter a little less painful. So all in all, that's the big thing about the movie is, again, I don't want to get too heavy into the plot, and because if you haven't seen it, I greatly encourage you to go seek it out. It is a wonderful movie. It's just joke after joke that actually works, because unfortunately that is one of my problems with a lot of romantic comedies, and that they try to force a lot of the humor and go too over the top with the situations to justify a really crazy, silly scene. This movie doesn't really do that. It's like this movie, because they do have that cultural differences and that they kind of hooked up before getting to know each other thing, so it's it's kind of like the relationship's almost working backwards in places, and then it goes forwards again. They're able to keep things moving and progressing and find that humor in finding the common ground and the love between two people with what on the surface is extremely different values and perspectives at looking at the world. The one person is the workaholic who is always just focused on the next big move up the corporate ladder. The other is the free-spirited photographer, odd job person who wants to enjoy everything there is in life and appreciate individual moments, not for what they could lead to later down the line, but for the moments that they are. And of course, the name of the movie is a reference to the famous song Fools Rush In, covered by a few different people, most notably Elvis Presley, and they do play that song during the movie along with some other great music. Give me real quick, I'm going to see if I can pull up a little soundtrack listing. We've got multiple songs by Elvis Presley. We have got little Dean Martin, some Enrique Iglesias, Gloria Estefan, We've got a little Chris Isaac, some Wayne Newton, along with some others. But that's what I'm saying. It's a great mix of music from different decades, and every time they play a song, it really fits the theme of the scene. It doesn't take away from it. It's just, it's one of those rare movies that, for me personally, hits all the right notes. Matthew Perry and Salma Hayek play off each other beautifully. Matthew Perry, much like he was in the TV show Friends, has a character that is a perfect fit for him, as he gets to be occasionally befuddled, a little snarky in his belief that he is the smartest person in the room at times. But at his core, he is a good-hearted soul, and that's what makes everything lead to that happy ending. The big romantic ending is that at the end of the day, he is a good person. He falls in love. He realizes that that is more important than work. That is more important than promotions. Is being a good husband and being a good father. So, there you go. That is my first recommendation. If you've never seen Fools Rush In, go check it out. The movie is now, is 23 years old. But you know what? It is timeless. Especially any of those of us who were born a good few years before 1997, so we remember what things were like back then. We're like, yeah, that's pretty much what, this kind of crazy dating situation would have been like. So for our next entry, we are going to go to our manga. And I actually have a prop for this one, folks. Sorry, I didn't have a prop for my first entry there. I've always watched the movie on, showing up on cable TV or anything. I don't own it on DVD. Maybe one day, but moving on. Our second selection from manga. Woo! That is right. Look at that. Look at that couple. From manga icon Rumiko Takahashi and her iconic series, Ranma One Half, The Prime Couple. Ranma and Akane. Now this is the final volume of the manga run. And yeah, bit of spoilers. they do get just a little bit romantical. The entire series is a romantic comedy. There is some martial arts stuff thrown in. There are storylines that focus on the supporting characters. One of the things that makes Ranma 1/2 interesting as a romantic comedy is that it is not so much based on, hey, two people that are kind of goofy and tend to clash as much as get along, falling in love. I mean, that is there. That is very blatantly a major part of the Ranma Akane relationship. But more than that is the fact that they each have multiple other suitors trying to woo them and charm them away from each other. Again, real quick super rundown of the general Ranma 1/2 manga. Ranma and Akane are the children of two lifelong friends who studied martial arts together as much younger gentlemen before they got married and had children of their own, who decide in the oldest of oldest traditions to arrange a marriage between the one gentleman's sole child and his male heir apparent, and one of his buddy's 3 daughters. Upon immediately meeting the young gentleman, the two of the 3 daughters decide that, oh, Akane can go ahead and marry him. So it's one of those kind of stories where they start out not really having any reason except, hey, their parents put them up to it, to hang around each other, let alone regularly involve each other with each other's lives. Excuse me. And as I said, subsequently you get sitcom-style hijinks as different suitors interject themselves, comic misunderstandings as the two of them try to explain, yes, we're engaged, but it's all our parents' ideas. We know we're still in high school. Look, I don't even like the guy. Oh, I don't like her. She's so mean and rude and crude. Oh, he's just such a jerk. But the beauty of it is that it covers 36 volumes of this. And hold on one second, I'll get you a precise chapter count. Probably should have checked this beforehand, but okay, so I'm going to have to research that a little farther. For this particular manga, they don't actually list the total chapter count in any given volume. They just list the chapters for that given volume. Like this one just says 1 through 8 instead of the total chapter count. So give me one second. But either way, 36 volumes with several chapters each volume. That is a total of doop 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 doop. Okay, ran 1987 and 1996. Why just... Dude, is nobody reading the actual... Okay, there we go. There's my counts. So what we got is a total of 407 chapters. And I've said before in some of my previous volumes centering on manga, a chapter is equivalent to one issue of an American comic book. So, yeah, as I said, you're looking at like a 9-year run story covering over 400 comic book issues. So that is one of the things I love about the series, is that you get a very nice, slow and steady building up of their relationship, culminating with this last volume where for the first time Ranma finally just says to Akane, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, I love you. And she reciprocates. So that's kind of the fun of that manga. I really can't get too deep into it without getting very, very off the wall and discussing everything about the manga because it is a very character-driven piece, and it is a lot of their relationship and the ups and downs of it, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, is based a lot on the other characters of the manga, which I would have to explain. I will definitely do a full-blown Ranma 1/2 manga breakdown in the future. But for now, as I said, it's basically the story of two high schoolers who are forced to socially interact with each other, who, with a little bit of sitcom hijinks and martial arts mayhem, start to get legit feelings for each other, but since they're both stubborn and full of pride, love to deny that bond. Deny, 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 deny. But yet, they just can't seem to stand letting anybody else try to have the other person either. So, it's pretty obvious early on that there is something there. But that's what makes it fun, is they're both martial artists by training, so you do get a lot of that fun and games of, hey, she is actually, quite literally, physically capable of knocking him on his butt when he does not make for a good boyfriend. Or if she just plain isn't in the mood to admit she wants him to be her boyfriend. It is in many ways the prototype and measuring stick for manga romantic comedies. Many manga that have come after it that do focus on a romance as the primary component take a lot of cues from Ranma 1/2. And as I said, there's a reason Ms. Takahashi is one of the most iconic manga writers of all time, especially among the females. And I'm not sure if she still has the record, because the statistic I read was a few years ago. But I do know at one point she was the most successful in terms of number of material sold, like copies of her different works. Most successful female comic writer in the world of all time. Now again, I'm not 100% sure if that statistic is up to date as of 2020. When I read that statistic had been compiled, I think back in like 2010. So let me see real quick if I can find an updated statistic for that, because I do hate to give misinformation, folks, and definitely don't want to give it intentionally. Yes, let's see. Ms. Rumiko Takahashi, born October 10th, 1957. Let's see. Let's see. Between her different works, there's been over 200 million copies in circulation. Okay, I'm not seeing anything immediate about that statistic, so we'll come back to that one probably for a Rumiko Takahashi centered video in the future. But yeah, Ranma 1/2, again, if you like character relationships that are based on a slow burn, because it is part of a long series storytelling as opposed to just a quick one and done movie like Fools Rush In. And again, I'm not saying either one is better than the other, just differences. That has a bit of physical slapstick violence to it, and a large supporting cast that are all hilarious in their own right, and who in their different ways continue to complicate the relationship between the two main characters. This is as good as it gets on that front. So let's ramp up to our big finale. Because those of you who've known me for a long time, who followed my articles on rouletteproductions.com, who have listened to my narration during various video game streams, and who of course have watched all the Friday Ramblings, can probably guess this coming. When it comes to video games, your top romantic couple of all time. Dun 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 dun. From Dragon Quest V, Hands of the Heavenly Bride. Hand of, just one hand. Take my hand, take my whole life too. Yeah, I cannot sing to save my life. Don't make me do it too often. The hero character you get to name yourself does not really have a default name. And Bianca. Woo. So why these couple? Why this game out of the many, many Dragon Quest games? Well, because not all of them really have a blatant romantic component. In fact, only a handful do. But more importantly, because this game is the only one where, as that subtitle suggests, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, the romance is central to the plot of the entire game. Excuse me. Woo. It's always good to be able to see. The basic story between the hero and Bianca is that they were childhood friends who, due to the hero suffering some tragedies and really bad pitfalls and pratfalls in life, they end up separated for several years. During which time they both grow up, into adults, different ideas, and end up through lovingly subtle hands of destiny and fate reuniting as adults, where they very quickly pick up their relationship as friends where it left off. Although almost immediately you are given the option of marrying her, and that is kind of the fun key here, folks. Technically, what is central to the plot of the game is your hero getting married. However, you actually have a choice between two women, three. There's that three again. Un, deux, trois, three. How thematic. Three women in the 3DS remake, or excuse me, just regular DS, not 3DS. But in the remake, three women. And it's important to note that even though it is a remake, that it was not until the Nintendo DS enhanced port / remake that it was commercially released in America. If you want to play the original Super Nintendo version, you either have to learn Japanese or download a ROM of it that includes a fan translation patch, which was how I originally played the game. Because this was well before the DS version was announced, and I was such a huge Dragon Quest fan that I was not going to miss out on a game. Actually, two of them, because both 5 and 6 were never commercially released in America until their DS ports. We're getting slightly off track there. But yes, in this version, if you want to play the official commercial version, and the same version that I've played a couple times over now, and officially, legally owned. Nobody get mad at me. You have a choice of 3 women. However, the other 2 you only meet when you start the quest that directly leads to the marriage proposal. Which is why Bianca is the one on the cover, and she is considered by the vast bulk of the fan base to be the core canon wife, because she is the childhood sweetheart. She was the one introduced before the actual little quest, where the whole point of it really, even though you don't see it coming at first, is to get married. And that's one of the things I love about it, is it's the childhood sweetheart thing, but it's not the, oh, we've spent our entire lives around each other thing. So, because, that's what we get a lot here in America. When you hear the phrase childhood sweetheart, it's, oh, I've known him all my life. We've always been there for each other. No, in this case, the couple actually spent like half their lives not being around each other. And their reunion was not this one of them going, oh, I must reunite with this person. They were my everything. No, it was one of those things of, oh, I happened to stumble across you. As I said, the hands of fate intervening. And then as she helps him on this quest, there is just the rekindling of things. Rekindling the friendship, but now that we're adults, maybe friendship is more than friendship. Now, the character of Bianca without the hero has appeared in spin-off games like Dragon Quest Heroes, in which case she appears with the second suitor that appears in both versions of the game. They leave out the third one because, again, she wasn't quite as iconic being a remake-only character, but appears with the second suitor where they do act as friends because that was something shown in the original game. If you do choose Bianca instead of the sweet rich girl, she does give complete and full blessing to the couple, mostly because she had her own childhood buddy she was more than happy to marry. But you see the 2 of them, and they do at various times in the dialogue discuss having to get back to their own world because there's an upcoming wedding and they have something they have to settle with a male friend of theirs, hinting at that plot of the game and that both of them are potential brides. So, it's a thing. It's a fun thing. They're a nice couple because even after you choose her and she continues to stick around as a character in the story, Bianca does never hits that like overly lovey-dovey, sickeningly sweet, clingy bride thing that, again, some media does when they have characters hook up over the course of the series, where it's like suddenly, oh yeah, we were buddies before, we knew each other before. Oh, but once somebody says I love you, like, oh my god, we had to completely change the way we deal with each other. No. Her role in the game, she's pretty much the same sweet, supportive person she always was, who's still very much her own person with her own ideas. Heck, when you first meet each other as children, she's the one that wants to go out adventuring and drags him along for the ride. So that's part of what makes Bianca fun. She's perfectly happy to be married. She's perfectly happy to have, to be a mother, to be a wife. But, you know what? She's still going to have her own viewpoint on things, and she is still very much going to be all about experiencing life and helping save life from the forces of evil. So, really, for a video game format, what more can you want from a romantic interest? And since it is Dragon Quest, look at that again. I just want you to look real close at that, Bianca, there. You get that lovely Akira Toriyama art. Yep, folks, that's right. just snuck in a reference to our last episode. Yep, look at that. Toriyama draws wonderful women. You know, she's got that cute without being overly beautiful and over the top. You know, you want to hook up with her because she's so sexy. Nope, she's just cute. She is that girl next door appeal character. And that's wonderful. Because it is an all ages game, so obviously you don't want your female characters being too objectified and too over the top. Ooh, so good looking. No. You want some subtlety there, because otherwise it's not really for all ages, is it anymore? You know? Bianca's a great bride and a great lifelong companion because of her personality, not her looks. So, there you go. There is my Salute to Valentine's Day with 3 examples. Love that number 3 today. This is the day of 3. 3 examples of wonderful fictional couples that I always enjoy. I don't know if I'm going to do this again next year. Heck, maybe we will do that St. Valentine and the whole history of Valentine's Day breakdown. But I will tell you, next week we are going to be back. We are going to have another topic, and it is going to be enjoyable. And I want you to be there. And you know what? If you got a partner of your own, of the romantical kind, watch it with them. Watch this video with them. Spread the love. Because no matter what, strong. Love is strong. Like bulky bicep of my dreams. Because it sure ain't there in reality, folks. But yes, love is strong. Positivity is strong. So we're going to keep coming at you every week until we get everybody to understand. Hey, you don't have to be 100% positive, but you do have to at least be constructive with your criticism. We don't hate here at the Ramblings. We don't hate here at Roulette Productions. We may dislike, but we dislike with the intent to help improve and grow. So join us next week. Enjoy your Valentine's Day, since it is Valentine's Day on a Friday. You know what? Go ahead, make it a whole 3-day weekend of awesomeness and positivity. Even if you're single, because you know what, folks? Just because you're single, and trust me, I was single like 90% of my life, so I'm totally talking from a position of familiarity here. Even if you're single, you can still appreciate the idea of love. You can appreciate the concept of love. So, go forth. Be back in 7, where we're going to break it down one more time and start our march to the next great rambling. See you then, folks.